Today we bid fond farewell to 2019, the year of the Earth Pig. As we look back on this journey, we'll revisit some of the top stories of 2019 and look forward to 2020 and the clarity of vision it will bring. That and more today on the Real Estate World Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Real Estate World Podcast. This is Scott Pekarik, and I am here back with you for one last time in the bunker. One final show for the year of the Earth Pig. Now, that's not completely true, and I'm going to tell you that in a second. With me today is Jeremy Pekarik, who is... I'd say he's looking a little confused, perplexed maybe. I don't think he's fully aware of the magnitude of this show. Jeremy, how you doing?
Doing pretty good, Scott. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for being had. So what do you know about this year of the Earth Pig? You are in a household that is 40% Asian?
Correct, yes. 40% half Asian.
40% half Asian. Okay, so you probably are our in-house expert in terms of, this topic. I mean, it's one that's near and dear to my heart, definitely. For those of you that don't know, I've had a lifelong, I'd say ambition, but that might be too kind. Dream, maybe, is the word, of visiting China. And I have made it as far as Southeast Asia for a month in, I don't even know what year it was, 2011 perhaps, but never made it to the Chinese mainland. I was actually within, I would say, a stone's throw. We went through Lokai, which is on the border of Vietnam and China, on our way to Sapa, my wife and I, and we spent 3 or 4 glorious days in Sapa, which is the area in northwest Vietnam. We stayed at the Hotel Victoria, and it was awesome. It was epic. But we never made it to the Chinese mainland. But I've had a fascination really since youth with all things Chinese, and it's kind of tragic that I haven't made it there yet. But anyway, enough down that rabbit hole. But today we want to talk about some significant events that happened in 2019. I mean, lots of controversy, lots of disruption, lots of chaos, I think, for lack of a better word. And through it all, since, what was the date? On or near August 21st, 2019, we've been that rock for you, that lighthouse on which the waves break for the real estate industry. And we will continue to be that beacon of hope, that beacon of stability, and that beacon of positivity, hope. Jeremy, would you say that accurately depicts our role, this marketplace, this industry?
I think so, other than recapping the Chinese zodiac for the year. And did you know that you're an ox, Scott?
I am an ox. What that doesn't sound very nice. What does that mean?
What does that mean?
So 2019, they said 2019 was going to be a good year for the ox. Now, for those of you that know how my year went, brain tumor aside, it actually was a pretty good year. It was a year of growth, personally, professionally for me. It was a year of, for lack of a better word, enlightenment, spiritually for me, and really in terms of getting our message out and allowing not just our voice to be heard, my voice, but you as the listener, your voice too, because of some of the feedback we've been able to fold some of the topics people want to hear into the show. So I think it's a win for everyone. Now, Jeremy, you called me an ox, and what do you mean by that?
Let's describe
the year I was born.
The water oxen. Yes. So the Chinese zodiac is a 12-year cycle with each year depicting a different animal. So 19 85. How old are you, Scott?
73.
1973.
73.
Sorry.
73.
So
I thought you knew that when you went down that rabbit hole. But did you just guess?
Choosing my words very carefully as
Okay.
in front of my employer. Don't want to call him old. But the 1973 is the water oxen. So
1973 is the water ox. You are 10 years younger, so you would have been 2003, correct?
right.
Which is the goat. Now, the goat, the greatest of all time, or perhaps something else.
It's the favorite animal to have over on my birthday.
Yeah, exactly.
Right
Where's
after the
dump
sheep.
Where is the dump button? Goat, a 2019 year under the mark of chance when all your ambitions will be fulfilled. Not bad. The funny thing is the Chinese New Year didn't actually start till February 5th. And doesn't end till January 24th, 2020. So technically, we're making references to all things China. We need to be intellectually honest here and give you the real information. Now, the year of the pig is...
Actually, I'm a water pig.
You are a water pig?
Yeah. That's 36 years ago, 1983.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I was looking at 2003. Sorry. So you're a water pig. Well, that's better.
Well, year of the pig, yeah.
Yeah, that's better. I like that. So anyway, what are we saying about 2019? It was just trying to find a few more stats. Lucky colors, year of the earth pig, yellow, gray, brown, golden. Lucky numbers 4, 6, 8. Boy, I don't know. You guys, you the listeners, you decide if this worked for you. Top 4 feng shui items for 2019. It's not Pao Yao statue, pig statue, Himalayan salt lamp, foo dogs, guardian lion. So anyway, if you want to, you still have a little bit of time, even though we are basically at the eve of 2020. But if you want to turn your Chinese horoscope into something positive and you haven't realized it yet, you have a little bit of time. You have until, what was it, January. What did I say? January 24th, 2020. And then the year of the metal rat is the new beginning we're going to see after that. And I don't know. Yeah, so the according to the 2020 Chinese horoscope, the Lunar New Year starts on Saturday, January 25th and ends on February 11th, 2021. The rat is the first sign from the 12-animal cycle of the Chinese astrology. And for this reason, 2020 is considered a year of new beginnings and renewals. That is, that's optimistic. That is it's inspiring for me. The metal rat year is going to be a strong, prosperous, and lucky year for almost all Chinese zodiac signs. And if you're wondering, I'm getting this information on the ChineseZodiac.org website. I'm not just making this up, even though I am probably intelligent, articulate enough to have made all this up and brought you along with the story. So the beginning of the year, the first days of February are extremely bright and full of motivation. So I think that we're going to put this on hold, and we are going to talk about this the first week of February again, because I believe we have a lot to look forward to. Or, end of January, early February, I think we need to revisit this subject. Unless, Jeremy, you have something you really feel is important.
Well, this is actually kind of interesting. So you had mentioned that it's the year of the Earth Pig.
Yes.
Correct? 2019.
Yes.
So there.
Well, no, 2019 was. Yeah, correct.
Was. So there are 5 elements in Chinese culture, including wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. So every 12 years, it cycles to a new element. So after 60 years, it restarts over.
Really?
Really. This is according to my friend Google.
That Google. What is that? Is that a new website?
Google.
You'd think from the number of questions I sometimes get and people not Googling it first. Anyway, so a few predictions in the next 10 years. There's, before we go into predictions, let's look back at 2019. anything that sticks out to you, Jeremy, as top story? There's a couple, one for me more than anything, but
Is that regarding to giving up your edible chocolates this morning?
yeah, no, not the edible. There is a. Okay, well, we're not going to talk about that. We're not going there. This is a family. We haven't.
Or is this about the book that you just authored?
Well, there's that, but I do have my name on a book that I am sending out to clients, and I'm very excited about that. But more than that, I think this year had a lot of it's the end of the decade actually. So I mean, there's more to it than just thinking of 2019. I mean, we go back 10 years, which we're not going to do today. We might do that next week because technically we still have a little bit of time left in 2019. For me, the biggest story of 2019 wasn't just I would say it's the inaugural release, airing of the Real Estate World podcast was probably the top story. I know, and the millions of listeners probably would agree. However, I think second place may have been the big one, the lawsuit against NAR by the appraiser from Minneapolis. Oh my gosh, I don't even have to reference my notes. I mean, that's how much the story left an impression on me. But the appraiser who, Jeremy, help me out. What was his name? Anyway, the class action lawsuit over commissions and the claims of collusion that were filed in a federal court in Chicago. Now, do I believe that there is a conspiracy by real estate brokers to collude on commissions? Do I believe that there is, that the angry white guys are massing not only to launch the counterstrike against Zillow because of Zillow's efforts to bring pay equality to the marketplace? No, I really don't. I don't think that there is a overt or covert conspiracy where folks are getting together and fixing commissions. No, I don't believe that. Now, could you make the argument that the land surveyor, professional land surveyor, Christopher Morrell, I said appraiser. Sorry, I found it finally in my notes. But do I think that there are efforts to protect a status quo by individuals, and I mean individual companies? That's not collusion. Like if a company has a business model and has a and they want to continue to do business that way, there's nothing unethical, immoral, or illegal about a company choosing to do business a certain way. Now, when you get a group of people together and they collude or they organize to fix pricing, I guess that's what they call collusion. That's illegal. Now, you have that in labor where people get together and they want to price fix the cost of their labor. They call it unionizing. Different things, though. Obviously, the efforts by numerous brokers to have an anti-competitive marketplace is, it's not just illegal. It's unethical and it's immoral and it's wrong. The efforts by a bunch of, I'm going to juxtapose that against, employees or labor organizing to try to use that leverage to make an employer give them a living wage. You could argue that that's more moral, or you could argue against it. I don't know. I'm not really going to make that. I'm not going to take a position on that one. I'm not going to choose a side. That's for you politicians out there to handle, not for me. However, I believe that this lawsuit isn't going to go away anytime soon. I think it's something that may have some legs simply because the argument, I guess, could be made that forcing a blanket of offer of compensation, forcing brokers to make that on every listing is creating, an anti-competitive marketplace a little bit. I don't know, Jeremy. I feel like, I'm a market guy. I say let the market figure it out.
I
If
think
someone
so,
wants
too.
to offer zero buyer brokerage compensation, I think they should be allowed to do it and say, what, buyers, agents, buyer, broker, you work that out with your clients and you make the argument as to the value of your service. To me, that seems very logical and very equitable, for lack of a better word. And like, I, for one, would be salivating for the opportunity to have that discussion with buyers. Basically we already do. Buyers go out in the marketplace many times unrepresented and for a very long time until some agent comes by and makes a compelling reason for them to have some loyalty to them. Whereas, most buyers, when they, especially the first timers, they get in the marketplace, they really don't understand how it works, and it's left, they're told repeatedly that, oh, the buyer agency's free, and you only got to pay our broker admin fee. Where in reality, it's really not free. Somebody's paying it, and if the seller, if it's coming out of the seller's proceeds, I get that, but sellers are going to take an account for that cooperating brokerage compensation, right? And ultimately, who brings money to the closing, assuming the seller's not underwater?
The buyer.
The buyer brings the money to the closing. So you could say that in most cases, the buyer's bringing money to the closing, and only the buyer, whether that be in the form of their own proceeds or a loan. So, should we assign a value to those services? And wouldn't you, as a agent, be more interested in being able to have that conversation and show the value added proposition, if you're not just someone who's opening doors?
I think there's virtue to both arguments. There's probably a lot of people out there that are comfortable with real estate transactions the way they've always been. They understand the process. They understand how each agent gets paid, and that's the status quo. They're comfortable with that. And there are others in the industry that want to maybe disrupt the industry to get a leg up on other agents or other brokers, and are okay with disruption a little bit because that's an obstacle that they can create for other agents.
Well, and I think there's a lot of efforts to make the real estate agent a commodity. Like you hear oftentimes agents being compared to travel agents. And I, for one, do not believe that an agent is a commodity. I don't believe all agents are. I believe some agents allow themselves to become a commodity because they're unwilling or unable or whatever, unprepared to have those conversations with their clients as to what service do you provide. Some people, they if you're an agent listening to this right now, write down 20 things that you do to provide service to a buyer. I mean, if you can't do that, Google it. All right? Because if you can do that, you have elevated yourself on a different level. You have taken the conversation away from what do you charge to what do you provide. You're talking about the benefits versus sell the benefits and the features, right? But sell the emotion and the benefit to working with you. What do you provide? You can negotiate. We're all expert negotiators, right? We all know how to fill out a purchase agreement. But what do you provide beyond that? That's the challenge, right? And if you can write, again, if you can't think of 20 yourself, go ahead and Google it and say, do I add this value, this value, this value, and get that into your presentation. Get that into your trifold brochure that you hand people. I guarantee you, not many people are handing a trifold brochure. They're saying, hey, give me your email address and I'll send you properties. That's all they're doing. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're first to talk to these people, whoever the buyers may be, if they're unrepresented, that might be enough. That might be enough. Okay. If it's repeat clients, say, well, they know me and they trust me. Oh, maybe not. I have personally lost sales over the years because I made the assumption that people knew the service I provide. Selling is telling, folks. Selling is telling. And the more you tell people about the benefits of what you provide by constant follow-up, even after the sale, the more likely you're going to build loyalty. Now, don't send them, hey, the 10-year Treasury note is up 3.3 basis points, and the Treasury auction said that the bonds that China quit buying bonds, and now that we are going from 43% to 46% more likely to have a recession. Honestly, you send that kind of stuff, and people are they'll probably unsubscribe. All right, no one cares. But if you tell them about the new restaurant that opened, a mile from their house and how you went there and it was awesome, and you know that they like restaurants, or you tell them about this new program at the Community Ed Center that teaches guitar for $6 a lesson, and their kid wants to learn guitar, that might actually have some value. And of course, I'm just making things up. But
or the new financing program that just came out that they don't know about.
Yeah, they've been in their house for 3 years, and rates dropped a point. Maybe it might be time. Send them a note. Doesn't always have to come from the lender. Say, hey, interest rates may have dropped. Talk to so and so from Scott Pekarik, financing, or Verde Mortgage, and tell them, look, it's worth you checking with this lender to see if there's a way for you to save some money. And I will tell you, most folks, if you show them even the effort to show them how to save a few bucks, just the intent and giving them the information will build loyalty. So, I don't really know where else to go with this. Like, there are going to continually be efforts. The iBuyers are coming. The iBuyers are coming. Efforts to commoditize to turn what you do into a commodity. Meaning, suddenly you're a pound of sugar, right? Or you're a bushel of grain. And if you want to be more than, a pound of sugar or a bushel of grain, how people look at you, you need to start adding real value, not just, and be able to have that quick, less than, 30 seconds elevator speech prepared to everyone, and hand them a brochure and that details it out. I will tell you, you cannot tell people too much about the value you add. You can't. Now, you can't do it when you first meet them for like 20 minutes, because I swear they will run the next time they see you. But if you can have a compelling elevator speech, and we're going to talk about that this year repeatedly. We're going to give you lots of ways to develop your value add proposition and your elevator speech. So that's our commitment here this year. We're not just going to talk about disruption. We're going to keep giving you specific ways to not just survive the disruption that's going on in the marketplace, but also to thrive. So anything to add on that, Jeremy, as we proceed? We finished the final month of the Year of the Pig.
Not really. Not anything that I haven't said already in previous episodes. But, I think that there will be some buyers and sellers out there that want the discount prices. They want as little contact as possible and want to get the process over as quickly as possible. And there will be other clients that, want to maximize their equity and take as many steps as possible to do that. And I think it's great that this discussion is on the board, where different commissions will be paid based on the different values that are brought by different realtors on the table. And you can kind of pick and choose and be a little bit more a la carte about it. I think it's a great conversation to have.
Yeah, and for those of you that didn't have a great 2019, forget it. All right, just it's time to move forward. The past is for learning, the future is for winning. So look at, have an honest assessment over the next, continually reassess your efforts. What did you do? Look at what you did in 2019. Did you really do the activities that lead to sales? Do you have a database? Are you working that database? Are you providing real value? Yeah, it's fine to send the canned newsletter once a month, but really, if that's all you're doing, you're probably ahead of a lot of people. But are you personalizing the content? Are you being strategic in who you send your postcards, your mailings to? Are you updating your database every day? Are you making the prospecting calls that you need to make? I know this for many of you, like, yeah, I hear that all the time. But unless you're doing it, you're not going to get the results that the top producers are. And it has been a growth exercise for us too here, like putting together a podcast. That was one of the goals going into 2019. We had no idea what we were doing. In fact, a lot of you would argue we still don't. We're putting together a educational series. That was a goal for this fall, and doing a training program, online training program, and educational series. That's what we're working on now. And guess what? When we started doing that, we had no idea what we're doing. And again, some people will watch it and say we still don't. But I will say we get better every single day. We're actually going to launch 2 more podcasts in the first month of 2020. How are we going to do that? Well, it's easy now. We've been through the process. We have experimented live doing this podcast, doing things a lot of people wouldn't dare do. That's because we're animals. We're barbarians. Like you listen to this podcast, you're going to expect to hear somebody grunting a little bit. His name's Jeremy. So I mean, the fact of the matter is, I can look back at 2019 and say, gosh, there's some things I didn't do, but I also got cancer. So I started a YouTube channel. I've got 100,000 views on my YouTube channel, Tumor Tales, tumor-tales.com.
In 2 months?
Yeah, a little over 2 months, 100,000 views. Now we're going to do that to our real estate business. What was Tumor Tales for us? There was a learning curve there. It was another lab in which we could create content, and I let her rip out there. To be honest, I didn't hold back a thing. I probably didn't swear as much as I might have, because I didn't.
Really?
We're trying to keep away from the explicit rating, but the reality is that we took. Okay, I'll swear now. We took chicken shit and we made it into chicken salad, with the brain tumor, and we took something that could have been negative and we turned it into positive as a way to be motivated. Basically, if you haven't listened or watched any of my Tumor Tales videos, I've taken an approach where I want to be an inspiration for anyone fighting any chronic illness. And in doing so, I've basically said I am not ever going to feel sorry for myself, ever, on those videos. Now, there's days where I've had some, days after doing some stupid things where I've had some moments of that weren't the highest points, but never once did I feel sorry for myself, nor will I. So we're going to take that same approach to creating our online learning. I will take the same approach to creating our YouTube educational series and our coaching program. So it's fantastic. I can't wait for 2020. It's a year that we're putting our heads down and we're attacking full speed. And I challenge and encourage you to as well. Will there be changes to this marketplace? There absolutely will be. Will there be disruptors out there taking away some market share? I'm sure there will be. But you have a duty and an obligation to get out there and tell your story and build your tribe and bring value to the folks that need to hear from you. You need to go help people. And if you put that at the core of your being in this business and you get organized, okay, get your database together, get a CRM system that if you're not using one. Jeremy, we're going to give you a little piece of gold here. What is the best CRM system out there, the best platform out there?
Ooh, the one that you use?
Yeah, that's a trick question. It's the one that you use. We can talk about Follow-Up Boss, Firepoint, Top Producer, Contactually, blah, 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 blah. You know what? The guy with the plastic box full of recipe cards or the gal with the spreadsheet, the Excel spreadsheet or the Access database are way ahead of most people that are using some fancy software because they're actually using their system. They're actually following up and talking to people. Not just waiting for the phone to ring or that Zillow lead to come in that 15 other people are fighting over. All right? They are actually out there talking to people. So anyway, we're going to talk a lot about that this year. A lot of ways that you folks who are maybe are doing great but want to do better. We're going to bring you some nuggets on how to accelerate your business, how to grow your business, and those of you that are struggling, we're going to help you too. But you got to be willing to do the work. So with that,
I think other milestones this year for you personally, before July, how many videos would you say you've posted online of yourself?
live videos
Or
otherwise?
Or otherwise.
I would say 0. And I'm up to about, 5 million right now?
Right.
Thanks to Tom Ferry, where everything has to be video.
Right.
And you have to tell your message to the world.
Was that the video catalyst, or were you doing video before that?
It started before Tom Ferry. I was already a disciple of video. I lacked confidence. And at Tom Ferry's Success Summit in August, we all had a revelation. We're just going to start letting her rip. We just let her buck. And there were, the infamous nose hair video where we baited the trolls and had I actually promoted that video just to get more people to like go nuts over it. And I'll tell you, I learned something from something Gary Vee said stuck with me. And he said that I just am honest and I get everything out there because I don't want anybody to have any leverage on me. There's no gotcha moments. Did I do that? Yes, I did it. And if it's something I'm not proud of, I apologize and I move on. All right. And, for me, I've struggled with alcohol my entire life. I'm going on 6 weeks without a drink, over 6 weeks now. And I tell you what, I can't be happier. I mean, there will be a day when I'll do a tell-all book, and that day is coming pretty quickly.
Your second book? My
second book, because my first book it's already a phenomenal success, and we'll be talking more about that. I don't want to. This isn't the grand reveal quite yet. But my second book is one that's going to be more personal about me and my struggles as a man and my struggles as a business owner, father, husband, and we're going to talk about alcohol. I never was a guy who wanted to drink every day, but when I did drink, many times, there was always that risk that it was going to affect me terribly. And where, you get going and there's the song I think they say it in AA, and there's a song by, oh my goodness, You and Tequila Make Me Crazy. Who sings that song? Country sing, Kenny Chesney. Ooh, I don't know if he's the original songwriter, but there's a phrase, one is one too many.
Kenny Chesney, yeah.
Yeah, one is one too many, and one more is never enough. Boy, when we get going on our drinking sessions, that was me a lot of times. And, I never intended. I was never an angry drunk. I never drank for the wrong reasons. I drank for drinking's sake sometimes. But it's amazing, and I'm not trying to diminish the seriousness of the issue, but I have to look back at some of my stupid acts and just wonder what I was thinking during those periods. And I will tell you, it's amazing in our society, and particularly our industry, how much alcohol can have a hold on us, like, and how you can justify the amount and frequency you drink, because you're always entertaining. There's always another party to go to, particularly this time of year. There's always another Christmas party. There's always another happy hour you think you should go to. There's always another tab you think you should pick up. And it's really challenging for a lot of folks, and I know for some of you listening, to kind of back away from that and not feel obligated or ashamed to not participate in it. I know it's hard for me. It was incredibly difficult. You go through the holidays. It's there's Christmas presents and cocktails, for the adults, and that's like stuffing in the Thanksgiving bird. And I went into the holidays with some trepidation. I still have one more to get through, and I'm not really worried about it at all. But those of you out there that are struggling with it, I feel your pain. I understand what you're going through. And I don't want, I laugh about it a little bit. I try to make fun of it, but I don't think for 1 second I don't understand the severity and the magnitude of the pressure you're on. And for those of you that struggle with alcohol, I definitely am I can lend a sympathetic ear. So with that, I just want to end 2019. Now, we're not ending the year of the pig yet, right? The year of the pig.
2 more months.
No, not Jeremy. January 24th, 2020 is when it ends.
1 more month.
There we go. Not even. So we still have some time. If you are so inclined and you're not satisfied with how 2019 went on the Julian calendar, I guess. Is that what we use?
Yes.
I think I know that. I thought. Ta-ta-ta, putty-tat. But if you're not satisfied with how it's gone, we're going to give you a mulligan here. We're going to allow you to switch horses midstream and slide over to the Chinese zodiac, all right? And finish the last, well, depending on let's say the 24 days in January, depending on when you listen to this and when you subscribe, and you got 24 days in January to finish with a bang, a whiz bang. That's our gift here. So with that, I just want to say, Jeremy, thank you. It has been a year of transformation. It has been truly epic. I'm my own worst critic. I'm your own worst critic, Jeremy. Anything to add to that? Agree? Fully agree?
Well, yeah, we'll agree with that. Yep.
Yeah. But I am my own worst critic, and I have at times this year been very frustrated with my own progress. But this morning I took some time and started writing down the accomplishments of the year, and they're nothing short of just astounding and epic and just amazing. The amount of growth we've had and then the position we've put ourselves in for the upcoming year. I say it with great humility and gratitude in my heart. Thank you, Jeremy, for your role in that. Could not have done it without you.
Absolutely.
You've been here for the highs and the lows, and there'll be more of those. Highs and the lows, we guarantee more of those. Where the future goes, no one knows. How's that? That was pretty good.
Is that Dr. Seuss?
I think Theodore Geisel, actually.
Oh, I was going to say third book.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway, but thank you for everyone who's tuned in this year. We got a little off schedule with our cadence of our episodes, but I promise you we will get back on schedule. And we've got a library of great interviews coming up in 2020, and I do believe the first one is going to be Treasure Davis.
The
Treasure Davis.
Treasure Davis.
The Treasure Davis. We will kick off 2020 with a bang. Our interview with Treasure Davis from the Tom Ferry Success Summit.
I think she's the Treasure Davis team, Colorado Springs.
Correct.
Is where she's out of.
Yeah, awesome inspiration, and somebody who was very gracious with her time at the summit. And I will tell you, I looked back at that interview, and that was really our second time out in the wild going to interview folks, and we were on that interview. There was a lot of chemistry there, and it was good stuff. So that'll be next week. We're going to do predictions next week, our predictions segment, and we might spend a little bit of time looking back on 2019, and I think we're going to come up with our disruptor of the year. And today we're keeping it clean, keeping it positive, and in gratitude and thanking everyone for tuning in this past year. We're bringing the fire in 2020. I will tell you that right now. There is going to be no effing prisoners in 2020. If you liked the tone of the show in 2019, you're going to love it in 2020. So with that, I am Scott Pekarik. I'm with Jeremy Pekarik. Say bye, Jeremy.
Well, and Scott's giving you 4 more weeks to take off those 20 pounds in 2019.
You got 4, well, not quite 4. Let's just say
26 days.
24, 26 days. The 24 days in January. Remember, nobody can do your push-ups for you. You cannot hire anyone to do your push-ups for you. Do as many push-ups as you can day one, and then each day try to beat the day prior and finish with a bang. That's my challenge to you. Again, thank you everyone for tuning in. I'm Scott Picard. This is the Real Estate World Podcast. We're out of here. Boom!